Hi everybody. Today we are going to talk about whether there is a discrepancy between what your son or daughter in high school says that they're interested in or says that they want to do in college or major or as a career and what they actually do to back that up. That I see over and over and over again. We're going to dig into this topic and I'm going to hopefully give you some tips and some hints to suss out what's going on with your teenager. Hi everyone, I'm Phil Black. I run an online mentoring program called PrepWell Academy, where I help to guide and mentor rising freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors to help them make smart decisions about high school, about college, about careers, and about life. Now, I had a meeting yesterday with one of my favorite all-time PrepWellers, and we got to talking, and he shared with me, or updated me, that he's very interested in biomedical engineering. Boom! Sounded great, right? I'm very excited. I love when kids seem like they have a lot of focus. So I dug into that a little bit, and he told me that he's in a track in school, the biomedicine track, and that he took this class that he really likes, and he's really focused on it, and he thinks he wants to do it in college, and he thinks he might want to make a career out of it. Awesome. I'm all in. But then I said this. I said, so-and-so, let's assume that I'm a judge and jury, and you're a prosecutor, and you need to build a case to convince us that you actually want to be a biomedical engineer. But there's one caveat. You can't use the fact that you like the class, your academic part. That can't be one of the things that you latch on to prove that you like it. It has to be other stuff that you do on your own, extracurriculars, something about your background that will prove to me, the judge, and the jury that you in fact have a true desire to become a biomedical engineer. Because I will be honest with you, it sounds cool. And a lot of people are probably throwing it out there, and I just want to make sure that it's not just a trendy, cool thing to say, because everybody's doing STEM, and it sounds like I really know what I'm doing, and man, the colleges are going to love that. I hear it all the time. So I asked this thought exercise. Walk me through exactly what it is that you do, what you like, what you're demonstrating to me outside of your classroom that you actually like or think you might be good at biomedical engineering. So he, raised his eyebrow, was a little bit taken aback. And I said, hey, this isn't a test. I'm just challenging you. It's just a thought experiment. It's not a pass-fail. So I prodded him a little bit and I said, okay, so-and-so, biomedical engineering, what have you done recently with your hands? Do you like working with your hands? Do you like taking things apart, putting them back together, seeing how they work, seeing the inner workings of all things? When's the last time you fixed your bike? When's the last time you fixed something at home? An appliance? Have you, anything related to your hands? Do you consider yourself a handy person? Do you consider yourself a tinkerer? Do you consider yourself someone who goes out in the garage and wrenches on things because it's something that they love to do? I got a blank stare, and I got a not really, not so much. I haven't really had the opportunity. No, that's not really been what I've been doing. I said, okay, let's continue. Biomedical engineering. Have you watched any YouTube videos on some biomedical engineering surgeries? Maybe it's placing a stent. Maybe it's replacing or measuring an amputee for a prosthetic. Maybe it's a hip replacement. Something related to biomedical engineering, which is the combination of engineering, tinkering, playing with things, seeing how they work, how they move in space, and biology, which is inside the human body or related to the human body. Hadn't done that yet. So I could see the wheels spinning in his head about what he might do. I said, okay, how about engineering? Have you looked into Khan Academy and done some engineering modules or done some more advanced math modules to beef up your math skills? Not really, not yet, haven't really thought about it. I was trying to pinpoint something that showed me that he indeed had curiosity about engineering, about how things work, about the human body. Had he spent some time at the emergency room, watching people come in from ambulances? Maybe spent some time in the trauma room. Maybe he should have shadowed, or maybe he can shadow, an emergency room doctor or a nurse or an EMT or work on a fire engine and be a ride-along to see what traumatic injuries to the body look like? Has he looked into, as I said earlier, how prosthetics work on wounded warriors? We live here in San Diego. We have the VA, the Veterans Administration Hospital, which has lots of veterans who are injured, who have severed limbs, who have, they've had different issues with amputations, and they have prosthetics. That is a very interesting and unique science. That's something that a biomedical engineer might want to think about, might want to do. So wouldn't it be great to somehow find a connection in the VA hospital and go in there and spend some time with a biomedical engineer fitting a prosthetic to a limb of a wounded warrior? That would be interesting. Has he thought about buying a drone and putting a drone together at home, using your hands, figuring out how to put things together? Maybe it's taking apart a bike just for fun. Maybe it's going down to the dump and taking some electronics equipment, or an old bike if you want to do it on the cheap. Maybe you don't have a lot of money. You go to the dump, you pick up some things, you bring them home, and you wrench on them. And I asked them, hey, do you have your own set of tools? Are you pretty good with tools? Are you handy with tools? Not really, not so much. My dad does stuff at home, but I haven't really gotten that involved. Now, again, this isn't disparaging him at all. This is just what I like to say, challenging him to think about how to prove, not only to the admissions officer and his parents, but more importantly himself, that he's cut out for this type of thing. Now, of course, not every student is going to know exactly what they want to do when they go to college, but I would prefer that this young man tests out his theory that he wants to be a biomedical engineer by doing a whole host of these things. There's tons of things to do during the summer when we have time. That's why I'm so passionate about helping kids think about this, writing their goals down, making sure they're specific and measurable and age appropriate. And if you're interested in a goal sheet, worksheet planning PDF, you can go to PrepWellAcademy.com/P as in Phil, /goals, and download a PDF that explains exactly how to create summer goals for your son or daughter. Of course, the PrepWellers who enrolled in my class, they do all of this, and they get to talk to me, and I talk to them, and I revise and edit, and I'm getting stuff from all around the country, revisions and edits of what they started like. They thought this was a good goal, and then once they make it a SMART goal, it looks a lot better. So by talking to him, I wrote a couple things down. One thing that he got very excited about, I said, do you know how to do CAD Design? And it's a software program. He said, what does CAD mean? And I said, well, CAD is computer-aided design. It's what a lot of engineers and designers use to create three-dimensional models. And you can test them and stress test them and tweak them and adjust them and change the dimensions. And I picked something on the table and I said, you could create this very thing with a $300 3D printer and learn how to use CAD inexpensively. So at that point, he took out his pen and paper and he said, I got to take that one down. So I said, here's a goal for you. You know, we talked about a lot of stuff. I know it's a lot to digest. But I want you to make $300 this summer working, getting paid, in whatever way you can do that. Chores at home, mowing people's lawns, whatever it takes. I want you to buy a low-end 3D printer that you plug in. You buy some plastic. And I want you to model something. It could be a key. It could be a bowling. It could be a ball bearing. It could be anything. I want you to model it using software, using CAD software, and I want you to print it and be able to hold it. Because he told me, he's like, I have a lot of ideas. I have ideas coming in my head all the time, but I just haven't acted on any of them. I haven't executed on any of them. Have I got an idea for you? Get and buy a 3D printer. They're relatively inexpensive. I've done a lot of 3D printing work with different product development groups. Create a very simple, it could be a dice. It could be something. I want you to print it out, hold it in your hand as a project before the end of the summer. So the goal would be, I'm going to earn enough money to buy a CAD printer. I'm going to learn how to do CAD design using a software program, and I am going to print out using my 3D printer this type of object. Boom! That's what I'm talking about. So this is not just biomedical engineering, and this is not an isolated case with this young gentleman. This is across the board. There are kids all over who have in their head that they think they want to do something, that they're interested in this and interested in that. But when push came to shove, they're not demonstrating it other than it sounds good, they've taken some classes, or their teacher said they would be good at it, or their parent does it as a living. I like to go next level. As we've talked about many times, it's tough to get into college these days. And if you have a surface level of interest with nothing to back it up, not so great. If this young lad goes into a college interview and it's about an engineering department, some of the really good ones that he wants to go to, and the admissions officer says, so tell me about what you like about engineering. And you said, oh, let me tell you, I bought this CAD, I learned how to use CAD, and I created this thing to help my mom at home in the sink or whatever it might be. I built this product that I took out of my mind and made it, and I could hold it in my hand. That's the type of stuff that makes great essays, that makes great interviews, and that proves to yourself that you're going down the right road. I hope this has been helpful. Try it with your son or daughter. Try it with somebody, a niece or a nephew. When they tell you they like to do something, ask for the evidence. Please put some comments down below if you think this was interesting, this gave you value for something you could do over the summer with your son or daughter. I will check out those comments and reply to them if you have a certain question. Tell me what other topics you might want me to address over the summer. I have committed as the summer goal to Facebook Live every day to pass along all the information that I'm getting from hundreds of PrepWellers around the country to help you maybe make some headway with your son or daughter. If this is something that you find interesting, or that you have a friend that you might want to hear this type of advice as well, please share it with them. Share it on your timeline. Tag them down below so that it pops up on their feed. They could hopefully get some help out of it, get some enjoyment out of it, get some advice out of it to help your son or daughter, because I'm on a quest to help kids make smart decisions in high school, college majors, college choices, and ultimately career and life choices. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.